Hello, Stitchy friends. How is everybody doing? Today is Monday, August 17th, 2026. This is Flosstube number 106, and my name is Andrew. This is my dog Winston, and he brought his duck along to share with you today. So we are here and ready to talk about cross stitch. This is my channel where I talk mostly about cross stitch, a little bit about running as well, but basically my cross stitch journey and what I've been up to and what I've been working on. So thank you so much for stopping by. If you are a new subscriber, welcome to the channel. I hope you enjoy what you see and the projects that I'm working on. And if you are a returning subscriber, I can't say thank you enough for coming to spend a little bit of time with us and join in the stitching fun. I wanted to start off by saying a quick thank you to a couple people who took advantage of the Buy Me a Coffee link. Thank you so much to Kathy and also an anonymous gifter. And both of those were birthday gifts, and that was so kind. Thank you very much. I do really appreciate it. And along those lines, I wanted to say just a huge thank you to everybody who wished me a happy birthday or celebrated me turning 40. It meant so much to me to have all of your support and your kind wishes and just all of your celebration around that day for me. It was really lovely, both here on YouTube, on Patreon, and on Instagram as well. Everybody was sort of reaching out and just wishing me the best day. And I can really say I did have a wonderful birthday, and the day was very special to me. Friends made it very special. So I want to just say a huge thank you to everybody who said happy birthday. It really meant a lot to me, and I tried to get back to each and every one of you because it really did mean a lot. And it's a big year, but I'm ready for the new decade and ready to sort of see what's in store for me to come. So thank you. As you know, I did go away for the weekend for my birthday to sort of celebrate a little bit. And so I was out of town the whole weekend at a lake house that a friend's aunt has, and it was so relaxing. It was so beautiful. I'll probably talk a little bit more about that at the end of the trip, but I just wanted to preface that by saying stitching time just did not happen quite as much this week, and that's okay, because there were lots of celebrations. There were birthday celebrations on Wednesday for my actual birthday, and no stitching actually happened on my birthday. Can you believe that? And then the weekend was really great. I had a little bit of stitching time through the weekend, but not as much as normal, and that's okay. It was a really nice weekend to get away and relax. So the stitching level is not quite what it normally is this week, and that's quite all right. Next, I wanted to talk about Riolis. Riolis is a kit company that I've been highlighting this month, one kit a week that I have really enjoyed seeing and would hope to start someday. And so today I wanted to share a very special kit with you. Riolis reached out to me and asked if they could send me a couple of kits that I would be interested in. And of course I said yes. I love their kits and have yet to start stitching one, but now I have plenty to choose from. So the one I wanted to highlight today is called A Secret Romance. And this is one of the Riolis premium kits. So it comes in this box. This is what the kit looks like here. You'll see Riolis Premium, and then this is A Secret Romance. This is a beautiful scene. There's a woman back here in the back of the garden, but all the flowers in these trellises, and just this beautiful, beautiful scene. I loved it very much, and I think I would love to stitch this. So this is one of the ones that they sent me, and I thought today I would actually do sort of a little unboxing with you, just so you can see what all comes in a premium kit like this. I have never stitched a premium kit. I think I have one other one in my collection, but I thought I would unbox this one with you today. So let's go ahead and do that now. So it comes actually in this nice package that you can kind of carry it with these strings here, which is really nice. When you open it up, the first thing you'll see are all of these beautiful colors here of floss that we get to work with. There's also ribbon here. There's 4 different colors of ribbon, which I actually didn't even realize were in the piece, but I think where it goes is in the flowers down here at the bottom. So I think some of these flowers right in through here have ribbons attached to them, and then definitely this ribbon on the hat is one of them. But I think that will be a lot of fun. I have never worked with ribbon before, and so I have no idea how to do it. Hopefully there are really good instructions in here of how to do that. But yeah, really excited to sort of work with that and try that out. Now this kit does not have the wool acrylic threads that typically or sometimes come with Riolis kits. These are anchor threads, and they are 100% cotton, so they should be pretty similar to work with like DMC. And then of course we have the ribbons there. So I'm gonna open this up just a little bit so we can see what else is in here. These beautiful ribbon colors are gonna be so much fun to work with. Look at that pink. That pink is just beautiful. So let me put that off to the side. So we've got the colors here on these beautiful cards, and I've really learned to like these cards a lot, especially when I have a spot to put the extra floss so I don't have to put it back on the card. But these just make it so easy to stitch from, and I've really enjoyed them on the Merejka kit, so I'm excited to use that here. This also comes with a 14 count just white Aida. There's a needle up here, you'll see, so I will probably take that out so it doesn't rust the fabric. But yeah, this is the 14 count Aida that it comes with, and this is a pretty big piece, especially on 14 count. So this is the size of the fabric. It's pretty big, and I've actually never stitched a big full coverage like this on a 14 count, so I'm curious to see how that goes and how I like that. But if it turns out that I would rather not stitch on 14 count, then I'll probably just switch out the fabric, but I think I'll try it with the Aida at least to start. And I'm sure that probably has something to do with the ribbon and how you kind of put that in the stitches as well. So that's the Aida. Then we've got a few more colors of flosses here. We've got all of these beautiful greens that kind of come in here, and these grays as well. So those are the flosses. Then it looks like we have the chart itself, which I can't show you, but it is a full color chart, and it looks like it's on a few big pieces of paper. So hopefully that will make it very easy to see. I'll show you just the size of the paper. This is the size of the chart. It's on the back of this, and that is just half of the chart. So there's two of those. That's a lot of stitches. It's a lot of stitching. But that's great. I think also, I need to verify with Riolis, but I think you can also get a Saga PDF file that you can use in the Saga app. So I will be definitely trying to see if I can get that. That will make it a lot easier to stitch. Then we've got a few instructions here of how to do the ribbons, which should come in handy. I think there's also more detailed written instructions on the back of this so that you know how to do it. And yeah, I think that's everything that comes in the kit. So this will be so much fun to get started. I really enjoy how they kind of packaged everything. It's all together, and yeah, especially for a big kit like this, I think it will be a lot of fun. There's a lot of browns and a lot of sort of tan colors in this, as you'll see from these colors here, but I think it's going to be really beautiful when it all comes together, and you get to see this beautiful, beautiful scene here of a secret romance. So that's the Riolis kit. Now, Riolis was kind enough to offer you all a 15% discount on any of their kits if you purchase on their website, which is riolis.com. And you can use the code Andrew15. So that is still good. So if you're interested in this Riolis kit or any Riolis kit, you can go to their site and get 15% off, which can amount to a good amount. I really do enjoy their kits and their packaging. So stay tuned, because I probably will have a new start soon with one of those. Okay, now let's jump into the whips that I got to work on this week. I only have 3 whips to share with you this week, and the first one is the one you all know, and that is Saga from Long Dog Samplers. So here is what this is going to look like in the end. This is such a fun piece, and I just keep pulling it out each week. So I will pop a video in here of where I was when I started the week. Okay, here's my starting point for Saga. I will definitely be continuing this down to the bottom and bringing it over to connect, and then I'll just start filling in this arch. So you'll see how far I get now. This week I didn't quite get my full stitches in. Typically I try to aim for 550 a week so that I can finish this piece in 4 years. I am well ahead of that schedule now, so it's okay if I have a few weeks where I don't quite meet it, but this week I was able to add in 358 stitches, and that puts me at 71.78% on this piece. So here is what it looks like as a whole. Ooh, it's so good. This is stitched on a 36 count vintage country mocha. I'm using the Silks For You PR207, and I'm doing 1 strand of silk over 2 linen threads. And let's zoom in a little bit to show you what I worked on this week. So I was basically focusing on this final half arch here. And what I did was I was able to bring the border all the way down to the bottom and then connect it all to the next post there. I also had a little bit of extra thread on my needle, and so I was able to do this butterfly here. I think maybe I added one or two of the other little butterflies here, but I know I added this big main one here. So next week, when I pull this out, I will start here at the top with the motif that goes in this arch, and I will just start working my way down. The more I looked at it, there are a lot of stitches in this little arch. So I don't know if we'll get the story next week. I think it'll probably be 2 weeks until we get the story, because this is a pretty big stitch heavy arch. Even though it's a half arch, most of the rest of this is stitched. So come back in about 2 weeks if you want to hear the next Saga story that goes with this half arch. But it was really nice to get that final border of that half arch completed, because now the fourth row is like fully outlined. So we're really, really close to finishing that fourth row of arches, and then we'll just move on to the last one. And that will be about, I'll probably hit it at about like 72, 73%. So that means over a quarter of this piece is in this final arch, or final row of arches, I mean. But yeah, really enjoyed this one, and I'll just keep working through it, and you'll see more of the motif inside that arch next week. But that is the update on Saga for the week. The next piece I pulled out was for my #Autumner Sal, and that is a Sal where you can stitch autumn pieces while we're still in summer. I have been so looking forward to fall, and my little getaway to the lake house in the wooded area, that made me even more excited for fall and the coolness that it brings, and yeah, got me even more in the mood to stitch on fall things. So anyway, this is what Little Acorns from Modern Folk Embroidery is going to look like. This is a piece I started when I began my new job this year, back in May, and I've just really been enjoying pulling it out and working on it. So this is definitely an autumn vibes piece for me, and I was happy to pull it out for the Sal. So I'll put a video in here where I was when I started the week. Okay, here's my starting point for Little Acorns this week. I think I'm going to be working in the deer right here. So we'll see how far I get bringing this down. You will see it now. And I really only worked on this one evening. That was last night when I got home and got unpacked from the weekend. I had a little bit of time to sit down, and I decided I'm going to pull out Little Acorns. That was on one of my quests on my new game to complete. So I thought I'm going to pull it out and stitch a little autumn. But I added 203 stitches, and that puts me at total, I'm at 17.87% on this piece. So here is where I'm at currently. This is stitched on a 36 count red cedar linen from Cedar River Linen. And I'm using the Silks for You PR149. And again, I'm using one strand of silk over 2 linen threads, and just really, really loving this color combination here. The sunlight is definitely going down. It's a little later when I'm filming today, so this doesn't have quite the pop that it normally does, but you can definitely get the vibe here. The part I was working on was down here. I think I had said I was going to start, I had the antlers of this deer in, and told you I was going to work on the deer, which I did. I got the head in a little bit, but then I actually came over here and did the back leg and the tail. So we have one leg of the deer, and we have the head and the antlers, but we are missing the body and the other 3 legs. So hopefully it won't be too long before I get this piece back out and we can finish working on this deer. But again, I have really, really enjoyed this. It's definitely been hitting the autumn feelings for me, and yeah, I've really enjoyed it. So this will probably keep coming out this next week, which I'll talk a little bit more in plans. But yeah, that's the update on Little Acorns. And the final piece I worked on is also for my Autumner Sal, and that is Under the Oaks. This is a kit from Merejka, and here is what this is going to look like in the end. I am still up here in this corner right here, so we're just working through that, but I love this piece so much. Every time I pull it out, I just really enjoy stitching on it. It's the right amount of confetti in a full coverage piece without it being too many ninja stitches. So you can kind of carry your thread down the diagonal in a in a good way. And I don't know, I just really enjoy working on this piece. So I think I have a video, so I'll put that in here where I was when I started the week. Okay, here's my starting point for Under the Oaks. I'm going to be continuing where this diagonal left off. Hopefully I'll finish the whole diagonal, but you'll see how far I get now. And this was one of the pieces I decided to take with me to the cabin, to the lake house. And I decided that because, first of all, I wanted to stitch on autumn things, and also because since it's a full kit, it's really easy to sort of pack up. I have all the flosses on the cards that they gave me. I've got the pattern on the app that I use for the Merejka kit, and it's real easy to sort of travel with. So I decided to take this one with me, and this is actually the only piece that I stitched on during the weekend while I was at the cabin. So it did get some decent progress. I was able to add in 773 stitches, and that puts me at 10.3% on this piece. So crossing the 10% milestone kind of feels like a good place, a good spot. But here is what this looks like so far. Again, this is all the kit materials from Merejka. I believe it's a 16 count Ada, and then I'm using all the floss and everything called for that they gave in the kit. So I think the last time I was working on this, I had a little bit more of this diagonal to go here. So I think I had finished most of this blue, but I didn't get to these sort of yellows and greens yet. So I finished the diagonal all the way down here to the bottom. And then I came up here to the top and I just started stitching on the next diagonal. And I got through this section of leaves up here, and then I got into more of the tree, and this knot in the tree I think looks really good. When you hold that back, you can kind of see the dimension and the detail in that tree there. But then I worked all the way down through this other section of leaves here, and we're getting closer. So I ended right about here. We're getting closer to this next section of the antlers here, which once we get down here, that will include part of the deer's head. So that is kind of exciting. We'll get to our first deer head on here. Now it's kind of funny that I stitched on, or I didn't actually stitch on the deer here, but we're getting close, and I stitched on a deer for little acorns. The funny thing with that is that while I was on this little mini vacation, I went for a run, and during that run I saw 2 deer, and I'll try to put a picture of one of them up here. But I saw 2 deer on my run, and that was so much fun and kind of just made me want to work on this piece even more. I love deer, and I think seeing them always reminds me of growing up. We would go to a cabin in the Poconos with my grandparents and all of my aunts and uncles and cousins, and in the evening, about dusk, we would go deer spotting. And what that was is we would all pile into a couple of different cars, and we would drive around the Poconos spotting for deer. And we would have a spotlight in the car so that once it got too dark, we could shine the spotlight and find how many deer. And I remember some of those evenings we would see hundreds of deer. I'm talking like 300, 400, 500 deer in a night. But it was always a competition. Your car had to keep track of how many deer you saw that night, and then when we got back to the cabin, we all compared our numbers and see who saw the most deer that night. And we would talk about, oh, did you catch this field here and see that many deer? So anyway, I have a lot of fond memories of seeing deer in the woods, and I think that's why I was drawn so much to this Merejka kit and why I just enjoy stitching deer. So seeing them this weekend just made me really excited to continue working on this piece. I really do love how this tree is looking, and I'm so excited to keep it going. So this was, again, for my Autumn Sal, but also because this was in the quest for the game that I created for my Stitchy rotation. And I am happy to say that for that rotation, I did complete the goal. So I think the goal I had left just under 700 stitches to complete it. And since I added 773, that kind of clears this for that category. The category that this is in is for my Patreon members to choose the whip, so I will have to have them choose which one goes back into that category next. So stay tuned for whether or not you'll see more on this. But that is the update on Under the Oaks by Merejka. And those are the 3 whips that I got to work on. So yeah, a lighter stitching week, but all fun things. I enjoyed each of those projects, and I was happy to see a lot of progress on Under the Oaks. That was a solid week for me. I thought I was maybe going to have a birthday start on my birthday, and then my day just filled up with so many other things that I had no time to stitch on my birthday, which was not a bad thing. I did have to work during the day, so that took up a big chunk of the day, but I was able to have lunch with a friend and dinner with a couple of friends, and it just turned out to be a really lovely day of celebrating this new decade for me. And that didn't leave any time for stitching. So I decided not to have a new start for my birthday, and just to continue to wait until the new starts sort of come through in my game organically. But let's talk a little bit about plans. So of course, Saga, I'm gonna bring that back out and try to get the 550 stitches in this week. Hopefully that will get me about halfway through that half arch. And then for the rest of my plans, I'm going to be continuing with my stitchy game. So right now I only have one whip in a category, and that is Little Acorns. That has a goal of about 400 stitches that it needs. So I will probably try to get 400 stitches in Little Acorns this week. Now there are two other categories that sort of opened up in the game for me. One is a wizard selecting slot, which is just kind of a random selection. I haven't actually assigned a whip to that yet, so I will probably run that with my Patreon members and share that on there. And then the other slot is for my Patreon members to choose a whip. So I'll have to get a poll up again for them to vote on their favorite whips, and yeah, then we'll see which one gets put into that category. So the only whip I know that I'll be working on in the next week is Little Acorns, but there will be two other options in the stitchy game for me to work on this week to kind of get through those rotations. So I also did reach a point in the game where I have one available new start if I want to use it. I think I'm going to hold off just a little bit and see, just to hold off on that new start just a second. But I was able to earn one new start, so that was kind of exciting in the game. Now the other thing is I do still have 2 whip go calls for the month. So I'm not sure how that's going to work, to be honest. Once I get the 400 stitches on Little Acorns, that category is my choice. So I'll definitely be able to put one of those whips back into that rotation and see some progress on it. So I'll at least complete one of the whip go goals. The other one, we'll just kind of have to see what happens. But that's okay. I'm enjoying the new game rotation, so we'll see if we get to the whip go goals or not. And as far as life goes, I just wanted to again say a huge thank you to everybody who wished me a happy birthday. That was so kind, and I really appreciated it. I had a really lovely weekend getting away. We went to, like I said, a lake house just outside of Philadelphia, and I'll try to put some pictures up here, but just beautiful, beautiful views from the deck of their house. It really felt like I was at a hotel or somewhere. The whole weekend just felt so relaxing, and I just was so blessed that they were welcoming us into their home and allowing us to be there. So I did get a little bit of stitching in over the weekend. Most of it happened on the deck while I was looking at the lake and all of the trees, listening to the cicadas, and we were lucky enough that it wasn't so humid this weekend, so we could just sit outside, and my friend was reading, I was stitching, and it was just kind of a lovely, lovely time to just relax and be in nature and kind of get away from the city. We also, on Saturday, when it was the hottest day and the sun was out the most, in the afternoon, we went floating in the lake, and we just kind of sat in the lake in these floaty devices and just relaxed. And it was kind of the perfect temperature because it was really warm, but the water was still cool in some spots. So we were able to just kind of sit in the water and relax, and we spent most of the afternoon out there, which was really fun. We also went to there's not many restaurants in their area because it is mostly a wooded area around this lake, but we did go to the 2 restaurants or 2 places they've got close to their house. One is a cheesesteak place, and that was absolutely delicious. It was kind of a different take on a cheesesteak. Instead of being on a hero or a sub roll, it was on a Kaiser roll, and that made it a little bit different. The meat wasn't quite as chopped up as you would normally think of with a cheesesteak, but it was absolutely delicious, and really glad we got to try that. And then there's also an ice cream place right next to the cheesesteak restaurant. So we, of course, had to go have ice cream afterwards. And it just was a really, really lovely weekend. They also had a hot tub, and so we were able to just kind of get in the hot tub, which felt great after my run that I did on Saturday where I saw the deer. And it just was a really, really nice getaway weekend, and I was so lucky to be invited to go and just celebrate my birthday there and kind of have a little getaway from the weekend. Winston was here at my apartment, and my former roommate came and stayed here with him, and I think they had a blast. Winston loves him very much, and I think he was really excited to get to spend the weekend with him, and I know he got to go on a few extra walks and have a few extra treats, so he had a good time. Today, even last night and today, he's been very tired. I think he was tired out with the weekend, but he was good, and it was nice for me to know he was safe and sound with somebody that he knows and trusts. So that was all good. But I hope you had a wonderful week. I know we are gearing up for the end of summer. I can hardly believe it is already August 17th. That really means that August is almost over. We're almost at Labor Day, only a couple weeks away. And then that really jumpstarts the fall season. So we are almost there. If you're not ready to stitch the Autumner style yet, get ready, because fall is coming quickly, and it'll be time to stitch those autumn pieces before you know it. But yeah, I hope you're able to just enjoy what's remaining of your summer. I was thinking about it the other day, and I thought, you know what, I really need to take advantage of being able to sit outside or go for a walk in the park, because in a few months it's going to be too cold to do that, and I'm going to be wishing for those summer days. So I want to take advantage of them while I can now, and just enjoy what's left of the warmer weather and the summer. I think it's still supposed to be pretty warm this week here in New York, although cooler mornings. I think our mornings are getting down into the 60s, mid 60s now, so that will be nice for running, and hopefully not too many more of those super, super humid weeks. But I think that's all I've got for you today. So thank you so much for joining me. I really do appreciate it, and I hope you have a wonderful stitching week, and I will continue to share what I've been up to, and hopefully I'll be back next weekend with another Stitch With Me video, so stay tuned for that. So keep running if you're a runner, always keep stitching, and be kind to whoever you meet on your journey. Bye for now, until the next stitch.